up, YouTube? I am your host, Mediocre tutorials and reviews. Back in here with one more video. Guys, you're looking at the thumbnail, you're looking at the title of the video, you already know what time it is. It is time to get active. Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, often a major conversation piece, especially on this portion of YouTube, and I get and understand why. Recently was doing an interview where Dwayne said that he does not lead in his marriage. Let me start off the conversation first and just say this. I could care less. I could care less what makes him happy, what makes her happy. But I think that it's an appropriate conversation to have because they are influential. They are in the limelight. So when ideas of their marriage hit mainstream, it forms a conversation. So I think it's appropriate to have this particular conversation. Now, I watched this short clip and there was some things in there that I noticed that I wanted to talk about, as well as to give kind of my synopsis and summary of what do I think is going on here. All right. Without further ado.
In relationships, we come in and we try to change people. We try to change them to the way that we want them to be. But I decided to start taking a different approach, in this relationship. I think early on I came in like, hey, you get 2 drink max, bop. And she didn't respond well to that.
I did not.
It was reasons for that too. Let me say that.
I have a good time. Life of the party right here.
It's not the man leads and the woman follows. That's not what we live in this house, at all. So for me, I have a wife that works just not just as hard than I. And she had her own career. She had her own life before I came along. So from my perspective, it was like, okay, how can I be a part of the growth and the evolution of who she is, and not trying to change her or stunt her growth or make her in the way that I see. In relationships, we come in.
Let me pause it right there. Did you see it? Did you notice it? Let me replay it again.
I have a wife that works just
one,
not just as hard,
2,
harder than I.
3, 4,
she had her own
5,
career. She had her own
6,
life before I came
7,
along. So
8, 9,
from my perspective,
10,
it was like, okay,
11,
how can I be a
12,
part of
13,
the growth
14,
and the evolution
15,
of who she
16,
is, and
17,
not trying to change her or
18, 19,
stunt her growth or
20,
make her
21,
in the
22.
way that I see. In relationships, we come in and
let me pause it right there. Do you guys know what I was counting? I was counting the amount of times that she was blinking during that conversation. Oftentimes, guys, I go over body language, the things that I see when people are having particular conversations. I've always been like that. I've always been very laser focused on to body language, how people are interacting, because as I tell you guys before, I'm very perceptive to people's energy. I try not to let anything fly by me. Neither should you guys either, because the less that you allow to fly by you, the more of a chance that you're going to increase your chances in life, your successes in life. Okay. Because I tell you guys all day about keeping foul energy people around you. Anyway, kind of digressing from the main point topic of this conversation, but I thought that it was important to be able to call out. So what does that mean? What does the excessive blinking mean? Well, it could be a very clear sign and indication of high stress and high anxiety. Why do I bring that up? Well, because for them in their marriage, okay, they're coming across and they're talking about like, this is the summary of life that we are at, that we have come to, okay? When he's talking about it, all right, she gets high stress and high anxiety. This conversation right here, although they come to us as a healed couple, has given them much stress and much anxiety throughout their relationship. And the reason I bring that up is because I think that it's important, because we often see the highlights of relationships like this. We often see the outcome of whatever it is that they portray to keep up with an image, but we don't get the behind the scenes bullshit and malarkey that it took to get them there. So when I hear him say something in the beginning, such as, well, I came in and I wanted a 2 drink maximum. And then she says, but that's not me. And then he says, well, that's, there's some things there. And then the lady is co-signing. Well, who would want that anyway? Well, what he's essentially saying is, don't embarrass me at parties, but you drink too much and you end up embarrassing me. And listen, at the end of the day, it's just one example, but if I'm in a relationship with somebody and she can't adhere to a maximum drink amount, right? If it's whether it's 2, 3, 4, what have you, okay? But if she can't adhere to that and she's putting our reputation, our image, our brand identity at risk from the way that she portrays herself when she gets a little bit hit of that liquid courage, well, then that is an issue and or problem. However, let me also say it on the flip side as well. Ladies, if you're getting into a relationship with dudes and they're drinking too much and they're going overboard, well, then he doesn't have the capabilities to lead you to where you need to be in your life, because whole dudes, accountable dudes, are accountable through thick and thin and in all situations. And a dude who cannot recognize something such as over drinking and then rectify that within his life needs an intervention. He needs help. And more often than not, getting that from someone that he feels is that he's leading in that situation, depending upon how you approach it, is going to make him do it even more. So I think that when the topic of leading comes up, probably this drinking thing, which was the first thing that came to Dwayne Wade's mind, is one component that he felt as though he had the particular answers to and was helping lead in a direction that was better not only for him, but for her and the state of their union and or relationship. But here's the thing, is that he came to a modern woman, and not only just a modern woman, but a modern woman that is 10 years older, who makes significant change. So what happened is that he was met with clear and utter opposition because he is unable to make the rules in a relationship, in that dynamic, because no one can tell her nothing. So what we saw was the stress and the anxiety that was derived from the relationship when this particular topic was talked about. And most of that stress and or anxiety was displayed in her blinking. I mean, like, at the end of the day, guys, I mean, I'm gonna talk about it like this, like, you know, I don't care, you know, what makes him happy, what makes her happy, as long as they are representing the truth within the relationship to the degrees that it is actually and fundamentally the truth. But I think that what the conniption that the majority of the men that follow this channel have is that this goes against the fundamental rules of the things that we generally enjoy as men. First, you have a man that's 3 to 4 years older than me, and he's dating a 50-year-old woman, and he is a creme de la creme type of a dude from a money perspective, and which means that he has the absolute pick of the litter. So I think it hits dudes' eyes a little bit differently, because what we see here is that there's a sort of submission that this star, this masculine basketball playing, dunking star has to sit into to be in a relationship with a woman that generally most dudes wouldn't want to go for anyway. So it kind of hits our circuits incorrectly. Not to just mention that, but then you see the things that happen with the children and the decisions that the parents have allowed the children to make. You see, you know, the taking of the last names and things like that. But to a degree, I get it, because the star is kind of tied up with the name. So there's a bunch of things in there that kind of strikes us as just flagrant, to say the least. But for all 9.5 ladies that actually listen to and follow this channel, do understand that masculine dudes who consider themselves leaders do not want to live their life like this. And here's the thing. If you were to take a look at the general scope of successful, highly valuable, highly quality dudes, they have a foundation built in masculine attributes. Okay. Just the same way as if you look at very successful women, they have key masculine attributes at their use and disposal to become successful in business. That just is what it is. But what I find is that many of these very successful, highly masculine women have a very difficult time turning that off when they get home into the front door. But it's my contention that although modern women are hit with these ideals of feminism, modernism, womanism, sexual liberation. The list goes on. As you're hit with all of these things that tell you, no, it's okay to tap into your masculine energy. And do you, at the end of the day, I don't care. But from a relationship perspective, okay, where we are at in the history of man and woman, the majority of men do not want to date women that have masculine behaviors and or attributes. But here's the thing, though. We'll go deep in the viscous innards of you. It gets supple all the same, feminine or masculine lady. It's just as ripe. But dudes know, by and large, masculine energy women can be fun. But masculine dudes know, and especially the dudes that are coming into the space right now, knowing that feminine women make better wives. And when I say wives, I mean it. Because if you look at marriage, marriage is a traditional contract based in religion where man was head of household. So, and our evolution as men and women have not changed. We're just hit by different information. We're hit by different information. But here's my contention. For modern women that really want to be modern, why don't you pay on first dates? Why don't you open your own doors? Why don't you want to just protect yourself? And that's my issue, is there's so many modern women that want to be modern, that want to be leaders, except when it doesn't benefit them. Okay? There goes a bump in the night. Honey, you can go get your masculine energy ass down in there since you don't want my leadership and figure out what's going on downstairs. I'll stay up here. Okay, I'll stay up here. This is 50-50. I went last time. You go down here this time. All right. So listen, I think that when we talk about modern ladies, they have to understand, if you want to be modern and you want to lead with masculine energy, all right, then you have to accept the bullshit that comes with masculine energy as well. Because then that is truly 50-50, and then that is truly fair. But at the end of the day, do you? If you do the formalized assessment and you're saying to yourself that, yeah, at the end of the day, I want a dude to meet me 50-50, then go off and find that. I could care less again. I could care less. I wish Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union the utmost best. Hopefully they can get over the obvious anxiety when he started to talk about or bring up this particular subject, because it is a key point of contention in their relationship. I absolutely guarantee it. I think for Dwayne Wade to be in a position of his life, of the infinite wealth that he has, the infinite power that he can attain, and the infinite accessibility that he has, to be in a situation where he is not the masculine leader I just don't get it. But I do think that he's fed into a lot of the bullshit that goes against the evolution of most dudes. To my dudes, because I can't just leave without talking shit on y'all, there's also a large degree of y'all that want to be leaders but don't have the outcomes and the receipts. You have nothing to prove, and your outcomes show that you don't make good decisions, okay? You have to understand who you are, what are your morals, what are your values, what are your ethics, and go forward and be successful with all of those. And if you're not successful with all of those, maybe it's because some of your morals, some of your values, some of your ethics are jacked up, all right? This is a two-party street, okay? You can't expect, all right, to be a leader when you haven't proven yourself as a leader. And ladies, do not get in a relationship with dudes that have proven they cannot be leaders. This goes both ways. I think that's all I want to talk about here today. Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Guys, feel free to hit me up. I got a Patreon where we go over content like this. The Patreon is mega booming. The Patreon is mega popping. There's a specific tier which it hooks it up to a Discord server so you can get access to the inner circle 24/7, 365. If you want access to the inner circle, the additional resources, whether it be from a wealth perspective, from a purpose perspective, from a relationship perspective, you guys know where to find me. All right. Last but not least, I got an Instagram at Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. Link down in the description box down below. Make sure that you guys follow me. Guys, let me know. Did I get this one right? Did I get this one wrong? How do you feel about this? Let me know down below. Until next time, YouTube.